Okay. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for coming today to the Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education regular public monthly meeting. Today is Monday, July 29th. It's approximately 6:07 p.m. The board met today in executive session Monday at 5:00 p.m. in the James Caldwell High School, room 105. The purpose of that meeting was to discuss personnel litigation, miscellaneous, and old business matters. The meeting had been advertised and is in compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act and NJSA 10:4-6, also known as the Sunshine Law. The matters discussed will be made public when confidentiality is no longer required, and formal action pursuant to said discussion shall take place only at a meeting to which the public has been invited. Tonight, we're meeting in public session here in the James Caldwell High School cafeteria, 6:08 p.m. right now. The Board of Education meeting is being streamed live, but all community questions and comments will be welcomed here in person. The Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education regular public monthly meeting is also in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act and NJSA 10:4-6, also known as the Sunshine Law. Notices have been sent to the Progress in Caldwell, New Jersey, the Star Ledger in Newark, New Jersey, and Tap into West Essex. Notices have also been posted at the Board of Education Business Office in the Harrison School Building, Gray Street, West Caldwell, and have been delivered to the clerks of the Borough of Caldwell and the Township of West Caldwell for posting. Brian, can you please take the roll?
Yes. Ms. DiMartini.
Here.
Ms. Landolfi Jefferson.
Here.
Ms. Mack.
Here.
Mr. Diambola. Ms. Grosso.
Here.
4 members present and 1 absent. We have a quorum.
Can everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Brian, are there any communications for the board?
There were none.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move to the superintendent's report.
I just wanted to share with everyone the NJGPA results are actually available online tomorrow on the district website in a screencastify, but we'll be doing a full report in the fall of all the assessments that were administered last year. That's all I have to report.
Okay, thank you. We have no committee reports this evening. This is a voting meeting because we only had 1 meeting this month, so we will be voting. All right. Approval of minutes. So can I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Yeah,
I'll
and can I have a
second.
second? Thank
I'll
you.
second.
Brian, whenever you're ready, if you could take the roll.
Yes. Ms. DiMartini.
Yes.
Ms. Landolfi Jefferson.
Yes.
Ms. Mack.
Yes.
Ms. Grosso.
Yes.
4-0, motion carried.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to public comment on agenda items only. Public participation shall be governed by the following. Participant must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface comments by an announcement of their name and address. Statements are to be limited to 3 minutes duration. Participant may speak no more than once on the same topic until all others who also wish to speak on that topic have been heard. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. Boards use the public comment period of the meeting as an opportunity to listen to citizen concerns, but not to debate issues or enter into a question and answer session or a cross-examination between the public and individual board members. Be aware that not all issues brought before the board this evening will be resolved. Boards may respond to public comment by seeking additional information or by delegating the authority to investigate the issue to the superintendent or his designee. The presiding officer may interrupt, warn, and/or terminate a participant's comments if they exceed the allotted time or are objectively obscene. Participants may be civilly liable for any obscene, defamatory, or slanderous statements made during public comment. Would anybody like to get up this evening and address the board on anything on the agenda only right now? Everyone's good? Yeah? On the agenda, Michelle. Michelle, we'll do a public comment at the end too, so. Are you ready? Is just something on the agenda? Okay, okay. Anyone else? Anybody else? You guys are good? Okay, okay. All right, so we're gonna move on to the voting portion of the meeting. All right, so we'll start with curriculum and technology. Marisa.
Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, motion to approve items A through F, and we're tabling 7D under curriculum and technology on this evening's agenda.
Yep. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
And Brian, whenever you're ready.
Yes. Ms. Martini,
Yes.
Ms. Landolfi Jefferson,
Yes.
Ms. Mack,
Yes.
Ms. Grosso.
Yes.
4-0, motion carried.
Okay, personnel?
Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, motion to approve items A through H under certificated staff and items A through D under non-certificated staff and personnel on this evening's agenda.
And can we have a second, please?
I'll second.
And Brian, whenever you're ready.
Yes. Ms. Martini,
Yes.
Ms. Landolfi Jefferson,
Yes.
Ms. Mack,
Yes.
Ms. Grosso.
Yes.
4-0, motion carried.
Okay, finance and facilities.
All right. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, motions to approve items A through L under finance and item A under facilities. Item 10, F, number 8 and number 9 are voting, we will vote on that tonight. It's subject to change based on final approval from our board attorney.
Okay. Any questions or comments on that from the board? No? Okay, and then can I have a second then?
I'll second.
And Brian, whenever you're ready.
Ms. Martini,
Yes.
Ms. Landolfi Jefferson,
Yes.
Ms. Mack,
Yes.
Ms. Grosso.
Yes.
4-0, motion carried.
Okay, and policy.
Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, motion to approve item A under policy on this evening's agenda.
Okay, and any questions or comments from the board? And can I have a second then?
I'll second.
And Brian, whenever you're ready.
Yes. Ms. Martini,
Yes.
Ms. Landolfi Jefferson,
Yes.
Ms. Mack,
Yes.
Ms. Grosso.
Yes.
4-0, motion carried.
Okay, now moving on to public comments. So I'll give the child-friendly version since we're all here. So guys, just so you understand, people can come up to the meeting and they can talk to the board. This is their chance to talk to us. This is the only time anybody in the community, like your parents, even yourselves, can come up and address the board as a whole. Because if you talk to us when we're in the street, we can't do anything. We can only act when we're together, okay? So we're together, it's a meeting. So you can come up and speak. So the first time when I asked anyone to come up, they could only talk to us about the business we were doing tonight before we voted. Now, anybody can kind of come up and talk to us about whatever they want, okay? And kind of the rules are, like, treat us the way you want to be treated, right? So you're going to come up and speak to the board. We want you to be respectful, right, and kind. Use kind words, especially if you're talking about something going on teachers or administrators, or if you're talking about other children or other families in the district. We just ask that you be very, very polite to the board and speak nicely and be conscious of their feelings, right, just that you'd want everyone to be conscious of yours. Make sense? And we say 3 minutes, but we don't usually cut people off. We kind of let everybody finish. We try to be very kind. We only say 3 minutes if a lot of people have to talk, and then we don't want the meeting to go on for like 5 or 6 hours, right? Then we might say, okay, you had enough time, now you need to speak, right? So stuff like that. You guys have any questions? No? Okay, okay. We're really glad you're here. All right, Michelle, do you want to come up?
So I'm not going to repeat anything. Thank you for all being so receptive, Mr. Conklin, for letting us meet with you and air our concerns. We really do appreciate that and feel that everybody did listen to us. So Mrs. Coyer and I had a meeting with Mr. Bertolo and Mr. Conklin about what we talked about at the last meeting. And so I'm not going to repeat anything except that I just want to, it was left that there was going to be a policy meeting with the members to discuss the middle school policy and any changes that may be made. So I was just wondering if we could have like a status update, or maybe let us know what will happen in that regard. Does the board vote? I think you said I don't know if there's a board vote, or you just are going to go back and recommend to Mr. Bertolo based on the board members. Is there any status you could give us?
So I can't get into specific details
Okay.
because of the confidential nature of the meetings that we have, but I can tell you that there was a policy committee meeting.
Okay.
Your concerns were highlighted in that meeting, and in August there will be an updated board policy that fully addresses those concerns moving forward for kindergarten through 12th grade, and academics not being able to exclude anybody from participating in extracurricular activities, which will then mean that it cannot be used in any of the codes of conduct. So once it's a board policy, it affects the entire school district, not just the individual schools. But that won't be voted on until August and adopted in September, because it takes 2 readings.
Gotcha.
That's why individual policies at the school level is different than the board policy. The board policy reigns over decisions made at the school.
Okay, so then will the middle school policy have to be
It
changed?
does
based
not have
on-
to change, that's why it's written the way it's
gonna be
written.
one-
Student in good standing, but academics cannot
I
be
see.
used as part of that process.
Gotcha. Okay, makes sense. And just another thing that, because of that came up as we were looking into all that, and like I was saying how the kids it affect are the kids who need it the most, and the children who, the low-income children of our community, and just like something I found out about that. Well, I would like for something to happen with that as well. I know Mr. Bertolo said that he wants to give the people an opportunity to pay because they're proud and they want to, and we get that. But I still think there's a communication problem, and that people don't know that they can get that. So the child that we were talking about, he didn't have internet. We found out, which makes sense why he failed now. But Mr. Bertolo did assure us that the school will give a hotspot to anyone who needs internet, which is wonderful. However, I know for a fact that this child and his mother had no clue. I told them this the other day, and she was almost crying because she said, I wish we knew. They didn't know. So we have to figure out a way to get the information out there, let them know that they can get these things. And we were thinking about like the kids' stuff book, they just go home, and if you don't want to, you send it back. Why can't we just send the t-shirt home? Send this, and if they want to pay, they can. So I hope you continue to talk about that, and I'd be happy to serve on a committee. I'd be happy to fundraise, to do whatever it takes. I know Terry will too. She'll help me. But anyway, just wanted to bring that up. Another thing I found out, so the child that I know also wanted to play a sport in high school, and he is, because we got him. What was holding him up, this goes to the whole district about the communication with this type of thing, because he gave up on playing a sport. He had all his papers, and he does it himself. And he walked to the high school, he filled every single paper out, and he gave up because he couldn't get a physical because he don't have insurance. So I happened to be talking to people, and because I run my mouth all the time, someone that was a social worker in Montclair happened to say to me, ask the school nurse, because a lot of schools will give you a physical. So I called the school nurse, and lo and behold, you can go to the urgent care for a nominal fee, almost like what your copay probably be, $25 or something, and you can get a physical and you can play the sport. They didn't know. So they got the physical now, and he is going to play a sport with my help. But everyone doesn't have me doing these things and running and finding this information out. So it's just a matter of communication and getting the information to people. He almost lost out on maybe 4 years of playing football because of it. So just something else to keep in mind. And I do want to say, like, the day they missed those things in school, I want to say for the board members, Mr. Conklin listened to me a few times about this, but they're also missing their meals that day that they should be getting when they're home because the rest of the school's going somewhere. And lastly, the promotion, I really think they should go to the promotion because they are being promoted. They're moving up. I would rather there be summer school. I know you can't force anyone to go to summer school, but every single other town almost does it, and it's successful. So maybe you guys can discuss that going forward. Keep it on your radar. Thank you, and you guys are always very nice to me, so I hope I'm respectful back to you, and I appreciate everything you do.
You are. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Terry, did you want to say
Yeah,
something?
I just wanted to say, that it meant a lot to all of us that you all came at the last meeting, and, spoke about things that we can do better. As a board, we are always looking at, celebrating like what we do well and always looking at where we can improve. I mean, that's part of being, a good district, right, is being able to say like, oh, you know what, maybe here we need to tweak something. So we are very grateful for all of the things that you brought up. If even just it affects one child, that's one child that we can all really make a difference in the life of, and we all believe in that. We know that our administration does as well, and our principals and our teachers, and we know that everybody wants to make sure that nobody gets left behind. So many of the items that you did bring up, I can say that we are talking about them and trying to figure out ways that we can always keep making sure that information is getting home, and making sure that we're doing everything that we can. So we appreciate when folks let us know that there was something maybe a suggestion. Sometimes there are things that we can't speak to because maybe it has been done, for whatever reason it didn't happen in the way we all wanted it to, but everything that you said has really been of value to all of us, and this is what makes this community so wonderful, is that we have people that care about all of our children. I think it's also what just makes our schools great too, because we do have, like our school nurses and our staff who want to reach out to everyone. So thank you for.
I know we do give this stuff and pay for it, which is amazing. A lot of communities don't do that. So the fact that we do that is amazing. We just have to make sure it's getting there.
And one thing we will, I believe Dr. Conkle, we talked about too, is that a lot of our HSAs do have great committees that are set up as well to ensure equity, and that everybody has access to things, especially things that cost money, and so that we're always looking to make sure that every school has something like that, and it's been really great. I believe we talked about our friends at Lincoln started that, and it's really been successful going to the other schools too. So that's something that we'll talk about as well with the HSAs.
You're welcome. Anybody else want to come up? Sure. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dan Heichel. I'm a West Caldwell resident. I actually grew up in Caldwell. I went to Lincoln School. I went to the middle school and walked the halls of this high school. I had an opportunity to speak with Michelle about some of the issues that she was concerned about that she had previously brought to the board's attention. And I just kind of want to share my 2 cents for whatever it's worth, and to maybe help stimulate a little, some young kids' minds here. As far as any kind of policy that prevents somebody from going to an end of the year event based upon their academic standing, I could certainly appreciate the logic and the train of thought that could serve as an incentive or as a prophylactic measure for people to want to excel. I mean, there's certainly many other incentives for that, but I think me growing up here, that certainly made sense. And as I spoke with Michelle, she informed me how it resulted in maybe perhaps an uneven application against somebody who wasn't a truant or a delinquent and had academic issues, maybe due to circumstances outside of his control or his family's control. So if a policy results in someone being excluded from an event due to those circumstances, I don't see that policy having any kind of incentive. Instead, it just becomes punitive. And for kids, that could be detrimental to their upbringing, especially for someone who already can't speak English or whatever issue that they're having. That only compounds it for them, I'm sure. So I commend Michelle for bringing something like that to the board's attention. I commend the board for listening to those concerns. And I'm not sure if you had mentioned that there was already meetings about this, or you might have already voted on it, but to the extent you have or haven't, I just wanted to add that I think it's very important, and I appreciate all of you doing that. I think Michelle also raised another point that getting the information out there is an important thing, but I also think it's difficult to realize in advance what that information is and who needs that information. You know, it's especially if people are experiencing things that not everybody in this community experiences for themselves. So Michelle, you know, if I know the board has a lot of stuff I could see on the agenda. There's a lot of stuff going on, but I think Michelle made a good point about maybe having a volunteer committee that could help identify those issues and maybe the best way to get that information or something. Because the board, from what I can see, certainly seems receptive to those types of concerns, but I also understand that it's you have limited resources and time, and it's difficult for you guys to do all that. You're only a few people, and you're volunteers yourself. So I think Michelle brought up a great idea, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? You want to get up and say something? No, that's okay. One day, right?
One day.
One day. Good, they're good. It's okay. That's okay. We don't want to. So before I call for us to go back into executive session, because we do have some other things to discuss, I want to put to everyone's attention that under finance, on our purchases and services, you'll see number 11, Perrette Somjin, which is our new architectural firm that we just approved tonight. Okay, so for anyone who might not have been following, the board has been talking, oh my goodness, I would say close to a year about going out for a referendum. We have a bond rolling off in 2025, and we're looking to improve upon the school district and replace that bond with another bond of the same money, so that there's no implication to the taxpayer, right? You won't feel it in your tax bill. One rolls off, the exact same one rolls on. We were working with an architectural firm. We were not seeing eye to eye. We have now approved Perrette Somjin, who is going to be coming to the next board meeting, which is going to be August 26th. So please mark your calendars. We're hoping Laura is going to get it out in the tap to help us out. And we encourage everybody to come. He is going to be doing a presentation about the referendum. The referendum has evolved and changed. We really feel as a group, and I feel very comfortable and confident saying this, that we have prioritized truly the needs of the district, the structural needs of our facilities, as well as security, which has been something we've been listening to this past year. And then there are some fun things and exciting ways we can bring the district forward that will be a second part of that referendum. So Greg will be here August 26th. He's also going to be at every single back to school night, every single open house in September to speak and answer questions. And then we are also going to invite him back to fall Board of Ed meetings, whether it's one or two. We haven't worked that out with his schedule yet, but he will come back when the board meetings are a little bit more heavily attended. But because the applications have to go into the Department of Education in September 12th, I believe, we want him to at least come out so that there's coverage on it in the TAP so people can start to read on it, know it, and then answer questions moving forward. The vote on the referendum will happen March 11th of 2025, okay? We're also gonna be hiring a public relations firm that's going to be here to give out all materials to the district and really educate through videos. We're gonna work that all out so that people understand. Just putting it out there that the board is not allowed to sway the public one way or another about the referendum. It is truly in the hands of the voters. So it's important if you start to speak about it in the community, please go speak about it. People need to educate themselves on the referendum. The board cannot in any way influence the voters. We're not going to be up here doing presentations all the time. We're going to let the architect come, give presentations, be accessible to the public. You'll get materials mailed to you, but the board themselves, we are not allowed at all to influence you in any way, okay? And listen, we have never done a referendum as a board before, so this is new for us. It's going to be new for some of you because this bond has been on the books for quite some time, but we do believe that it's an exciting way to push the district forward and do some much needed work on our buildings and definitely to our security in our buildings. Okay? So August 26th, mark your calendars, come out, and then, like I said, Greg he's really fantastic, he'll do a great job, and then we'll keep everybody apprised of where he's gonna be and when he's gonna be around. Okay? So that being said, I'm gonna make a motion to end the public portion of the meeting at 6:32 and move into executive session back into room 105. If I could have a motion
I'll make a motion.
and a second.
I'll second.
And Brian, if you could please take the roll.
Sure, all in favor, aye? All
Aye.
against,
Aye.
no? Any abstentions? Sorry for being too quick. Motion carried.
Great, thank you so much for coming. Thanks, guys. We hope we got you out of here very quickly. Thank you, you too, you too.